Welcome to On the Corner of Main Street, presented by Plaza Hotel and Casino in downtown Las Vegas. Here is Plaza CEO Jonathan Jossel, Gary Vickery, and I'm your host, Lisa Melmed. We are here with our first ever fourth-time guest.
Yeah.
The one and only Vital Vegas, author of VitalVegas.com and at Vital Vegas on Twitter. Scott Roeben, back to On the Corner of Main Street.
Oh, it's so nice to be back. Thank you.
It's episode 96.
Yes.
We promised it to you.
Thank you.
Welcome back.
I'm sorry to Oscar Goodman because he probably is your most frequent guest, but he's part of the family. I feel like a de facto part of the family, but thank you so much for having me on again.
You're right.
Well, you better clarify that though. Not like some people say, then you're really part of the family, like payroll-wise.
Yeah,
not part of our employee family. You're just a friend of the Plaza who we love.
Yes, and also if I could get a raise, that'd be great.
Oh my gosh.
I've been saying a lot of nice things. You know why I've been saying more nice things? Because you have more nice things to
Right.
say.
Oh.
I mean, all the stuff that you're, I come on the show partially because I have just a vast knowledge of everything, but I also come on to ask questions that the lay people would ask. And
Right.
so it's an opportunity for both of us to catch up and chat. But I have questions. One of them, can we start with what I want?
Oh, are you
I know I'm not the
starting? Are you
host,
doing this?
technically,
Is this your podcast?
But you just shared a tweet.
Right.
I'm deeply offended you didn't give it to me first. However, it's a beautiful new entrance at the Plaza.
Yes.
You're not the only person who's offended. A bunch of our team members here are like, what are you talking about, Jonathan? When did you decide on this? This rendering, actually, we signed off on this probably 3 months ago in February. It's been ordered. The big sign from Yesco, which is the light bulbs that we're putting in, have been taking a little bit of time to be made and come in. We're hoping everything's done in early June in time for the opening of the downstairs stuff, the new carousel and the pink box and
Brian Christopher
smoke-free area and the patio, and that's all scheduled for a grand opening date of June the 10th. Save the date.
Save the date. That's news.
That is news. Ribbon cutting June the 8th.
It's a lot of breaking news. This is a lot of breaking news.
Well, I've tweeted this. I had an interview with Jonathan on my last podcast where he said this. So
June 10th?
Don't be the RJ. Don't break the news. After
You can't break the broken
I
news.
did like your tweet.
Now
You were like, so RJ can break the news in 2
official.
days.
June 10. So now we'll fill the place up.
June 8 ribbon cuttings,
Invited media.
in media and a little bit of a ceremony just to do the official work that you have to do. But then June the 10th is the party. That night we're going to do something on the patio for appetizers, drinks, take everyone down to the carousel, casino promotion. Pink Bucks will do their own donut promotion. It's going to be a fun night, and hopefully everything goes off without a hitch, and we have a brand new face of Main Street.
Mm-hmm.
But then at the same time, we wanted to do, as we've closed valet and parking under the dome there, and that is now not really, well, you cannot drive up there at all. So everyone's first impression of the Plaza is that entrance across from Greyhound. Got to clean it up. And so we have a beautiful rendering. It was inspired actually by the old entrance of the Plaza, which is part of the rendering, but also the Beverly Hills Hotel in Los Angeles, where you have the red carpet and the awnings. That was some of the inspiration behind it, but obviously with the Plaza downtown Las Vegas twist. And so I just was on my desk today, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to share a picture of this, and didn't tell anyone I was about to do it. And everyone appreciates it, so that's good news.
You surprised your own team. That's always got to be a joy, especially since I tweeted it before you were on the social media account. But anyway,
Yes.
but a lot of people, if they don't know the orientation of that entrance, this is the if you've ever driven into South Park, you drive by this little area. That will be the valet now, and this entrance really will be for anybody in a car.
Yeah, it's limo drop-off,
that'll be
taxi
the first
drop-off. It's not rideshare drop-off. Rideshare goes on Main Street. But all of our casino guests coming in the Plaza limos, anyone parking in the South parking lot, anyone using our Ace, that's a Freudian slip, gold and silver casino levels, used to be Ace King levels, gold and silver parking levels, player card levels, can park there for free.
So your players card levels, your tiers changed?
About 3 years ago, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Breaking news.
Because I feel like I have a
You should
card
play more
with a-
video poker. You would know that if you played more.
I do, but I didn't think I had literally have my card. But I thought I had a jack level or something, but
No.
thank you. That's that's a breaking story. For the people that haven't heard it, that's a breaking story.
I hope you're higher than Jack.
There's literally no, I don't know what, there's no.
Yeah, you're entry level.
Oh.
Or
Nothing written
or you
on it.
haven't received the high level card since you've played.
I have not gotten a new card
Right.
since I started playing at Sand Dollar,
Yes.
which I took out a second mortgage for. So I'm going to check back in and see what level I'm at now.
Thank you for mentioning that. Congratulations, Lisa. Congratulations to me. Sandollar is 1 year old this week.
Oh my gosh.
Happy birthday, Sandollar.
How
Happy
is that
anniversary.
possible?
That
We did a
is
soft
wild.
opening in May, the first week of May, and then May the 28th was the big thing with ZZ Top and all of them, our grand opening. But that first few weeks was
Well,
all about Sandollar and opening. So, you know what? Good for us. We got that opening, and then a year later we're opening all the other stuff that we're doing. And you know what? I just have fun, Scott. It's just having fun. And I had probably had one of my most fun weeks in Las Vegas.
why was it so fun?
Well, I love the parrot. Talked a little bit
talked
about the parrot gambling. But he had 1.5 million views. And everyone in England's emailing me saying, you had Max there playing with a parrot. And who else would do that?
Oh, YouTube views on YouTube
Yeah.
of the parrot.
Yeah.
People that don't know, they invited a parrot in. The parrot didn't sit on the table or touch the table. It gave verbal cues to the influencer who then
Correct.
made the bet.
Correct.
Because gaming is very sensitive about foul play. Now,
That was good.
I'll be here
God, you're the best.
for episode 169 as well. I hope.
They didn't want any foul play, and they wanted to make sure that it would be the human's money, not the parrot's money, that was lost.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was the only criteria for could this take place. So we did that, but then we followed it up with a friend of mine took to a really interesting Instagram account of a guy, very large guy, who loves to eat Chinese food. And he's from England, East London. And my friend was so enamored by him that I reached out to the guy via Instagram and said, hey, would you like to come to Las Vegas? This was about 6 months ago. Would you like to come to Las Vegas and have dinner in our steakhouse? And my friend would like to have dinner with you from New York. His name's James Miller, and the Instagram account's called It's Big John.
One.
So anyway, the guy replies and says, yeah, I'd love to come to Vegas. And I said, great, we'll buy you a plane ticket, come out to Vegas. And in the 6 months since I reached out to him, he's become a national treasure in England. Literally a national treasure.
He had like 100,000 followers when you reached out, and now he has
Maybe more. And now he's up to like 250, right? But he's got incredible engagement. People of all genres are fascinated by this guy because he's just a likable guy, I guess. So I reach out to him, and then last week he flew out here with his wife, stayed in the Plaza for the week, and had lunch and dinner with Lisa, myself, and my friend almost every day for a week. And he was posting stuff, and people in England were going crazy. How have you got Big John there? What's he doing there? Why is he with you? People were saying, can you send me videos of him? Can you have him say this? Can you have him say that? And it really just brought home to me the power of social media. And for this guy, he must be wondering, like, I can't believe a casino in Las Vegas is flying me out there to eat with them because I ate Chinese food on Instagram and developed a following.
And he's a bigger guy.
He's a bigger guy.
So this is really appropriate because when you did your renovation, didn't you adjust the booth sizes
Yes.
to accommodate everyone?
It's
to
more-
be more
it's-
inclusive of. Is that top secret or no? Because every casino is doing larger slot machine shares, is doing to accommodate all people of all
Shapes and sizes.
Shapes and sizes, yeah. So
Lisa's staring at me, so I'm not going to answer this. What?
And teaser alert, Big John, I believe, will make a cameo appearance on the next episode that is the Oscar dinner series.
Just because he came to Oscar's dinner
That's
series
right.
on Wednesday
And
night.
you handed him the microphone.
I did. Thank
Yes.
you. So you both actually met Big John.
oh my gosh,
he was the
I don't
gentleman-
remember him being all that big.
He was the gentleman
very
that
nice.
said not all fat slubs are bad.
Oh,
because Oscar was
yes.
calling one of the cops a fat slub.
Yes.
Was that your East Ender accent?
No, I could do it
Okay,
better than
yeah.
that.
Let's hear it.
No,
Let's
he
hear it. Let's
seemed
hear it.
very
A little
nice.
Cockney here.
Let's have it.
Now, That was probably better.
Lisa stole the show. Thank you.
His accent was better than the guy in Ocean's 11 that ruined the.
Oh, Don Cheadle, yeah. Oh, God.
It was
awful.
it was really fun to have him here and have him at the Oscars dinner series. He loved Oscar Goodman. He said Oscar reminded him of his own father.
Just the way it all came together, and he had a good time and appreciated it. Was a nice guy, but then the social outreach from it, to me, is unbelievable.
And you took him to
Encore Beach Club.
Encore Beach Club, and he was posting stories on while he was there, and there were so many cabanas full of people going Bosch,
Who all
doing
recognized him,
who all
yeah.
recognized him.
That's
In America.
amazing.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. It was great to see the power of social media flourishing, and we embrace it.
And he's
You have to embrace
mainly a British phenomenon, right? Because we
Well,
get
he's
so many
worldwide.
British
Everyone
visitors.
here recognizes
People
him.
were recognizing him in Fremont Street. Someone flying down the zip line shouted, "It's Big John!"
while he was on the zip line.
Finally, someone who gets the attention I do. people
Has anyone
flying
ever
on the
yelled
zip line.
your name over the zip line while you're walking by?
No, but I've had some weird ones of like cars driving by, and yeah, usually they're throwing things, so it's not exactly the same kind of reaction. But yeah, it's very strange. Social media. I have lots of folks who introduce themselves as being from Great Britain, so there's like little pockets of kind of listeners or fans. I'm sure you have them for your show too. It's kind of like, I had no idea it was so big in like Paraguay. You look at the stats and you can see where the downloads come from, like visits to a website or whatever. And it's just like, wow, I'm really popular in Ukraine and kind of a strange place.
You should go to Ukraine now and take a visit of that. Go see all your fans there.
In Ukraine?
Yeah.
Well, I've heard that everybody looks like a model.
Have you also
So-
heard there's a war?
Well, did
No.
I tell you everyone looks like a model? Like if I'm going to put on a flak jacket, that's probably going to be why.
We also have Super Bingo upstairs happening right now. So
Oh, that's fun.
that's always fun.
600 people playing bingo.
I don't know if I came up at a weird time, but there were people coming. It looked like a session had ended. It was dozens of people. It was just they're seasoned. You know, the ages are
They're
a little
certainly-
elevated.
yes, yep,
There were people with
yep.
matching T-shirts,
Oh, yeah.
like my lucky bingo
Yeah.
shirt. I don't think I got the level of bingo fanaticism.
You need to come and see it during the day. You're never awake in time.
Yeah, like noonish.
Yeah,
One.
yeah,
Like,
you
is
could
there a
come by. It
session?
ends at around 2:30 the session, but this is the big one. This is the big one. We do it once a month. There's 600 people here doing it, not dozens. 600 people, which is actually not the biggest, but March, April, September, October, we get about 850, 900 for them.
What in the world is going on?
And they play for 3 days straight. It's pretty amazing.
That is great because that niche is not. It certainly is not being filled downtown other than by you. And I know the locals casinos do it, but to be the only one downtown, you're definitely. And these folks, to have so many people, they're not tourists, so you've got a mixture of locals and visitors. That's a really kind of, I guess not a lot of people talk about it because it probably, I think in most casinos, it's not a big revenue driver, but you're definitely serving a need that is out there if you're getting 600 or 800 people.
No, it's huge, and
Amazing.
it's a great demographic, and it's daytime, so they're entertained during the day, and then at nighttime they're gambling, eating. It's a good demographic, and it gives you something on what's today, Tuesday. Mm-hmm. So it's wonderful.
You guys do a lot of weird, wonderful stuff, like the pickleball thing you talk about quite often. That's
Boy,
not-
did you
that's
boy,
not-
did
Speaking
you
of pickleball,
boy,
got
did you
it
get that wrong?
I did, and I thought it was funny because Red Rock on April Fools they shared a picture of a pickleball court on their roof, and I think they thought it was funny, and I said, why wouldn't you do that if pickleball is such a big thing? Funny
'Cause I really did it.
Because you really did it, exactly. So I didn't really understand, and I know that you've said that it helps that you love pickleball as well, but it's kind of one of those things where who else is doing it? Nobody. We got that. That's just really
I
smart.
mean, Central Park in New York just converted the ice rink in the winter to pickleball courts in the summer. That, to me, everyone's jumping on the bandwagon now. And if anything, I regret not doing more because we kind of aren't the biggest players in the space now. There's the PPA, the MLP, there's leagues, there's LeBron James, there's Tom Brady. They're all getting involved. I regret that we didn't do more with them, but I'm happy with what we have. We just booked a couple more events. We have a tournament coming in in June. We have one on Super Bowl weekend. Well, the week leading into the weekend next year. We have other events coming up. So it's working, but I wish we did more. And today it's a little windy. We need indoor courts. Someone needs to build
Have
nice
you
indoor
played?
courts.
I would love to play because it's not really a sport. So I think I'd actually be pretty good at it. I can move
It's not
my
actually
arms.
a sport? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
it's like big table tennis. You don't really have to. You're not going to break a sweat or anything.
All right, you and me, we'll do it.
Okay.
Do you break a sweat?
So,
with it?
one
Oh, I
last
do,
question
yes.
before
Yeah.
we move on from the new offerings.
Yeah.
Everybody knows about, and I popped in down at the Carousel Lounge, which
Yeah.
I'm calling a lounge now, so that I'm trying to set the correct expectations, because they're booths. At a bar, you might not have booths, whatever. And everybody knows about the Oscars patio, which is awesome, and we're looking at it right now. And so I had a question about the
Smoke-free.
and Pink Box Donuts, of course, is looking great, and the whole side of the facade is off, so they can put on their pinkness. But I had a question about the new casino area. Is that actually going to be? Because you mentioned Brian Christopher a lot. We all know and love him. Is that going to be like a branded Brian Christopher thing? Is that official, or is that just going to be kind of like the Brian Christopher section of the casino that was branded? Now it's not.
So let me take a crack at explaining this. It's still part of the Plaza Casino. It's never changed. It's not a separate casino. It is the Plaza Hotel Casino. It's just a non-smoking section of the Plaza Hotel Casino, which is in partnership with Brian Christopher. But when it's not a newly licensed casino, it's not a separately licensed casino, it's not a separate ownership group. It's still the Plaza Casino.
So it's kind of just his brand is associated with it, and if he moves on or whatever happens, it's still
Correct.
It's just another part of the.
Yeah,
Plaza
if Brian said, if we're not in partnership with Brian anymore, it would still continue as a smoke-free casino.
Okay. Well, can I have dibs on the next partnership after? Because.
Well, I got to give credit. Brian is a wonderful partner to us. He's done a great job. If you're listening, Brian, thank you for your partnership. Sorry that the construction's taken so long, but through no fault of our own. But he's been a great partner for us, and a lot of people didn't believe in the relationships with YouTubers. You see it everywhere now. So credit to Lisa for a few years ago embracing that, and I'd like to think we were the first ones to truly embrace it. And maybe to this day we're still the biggest embracers of it. And what we want to accomplish in there is to create an environment which is really YouTube friendly, which means, or not just YouTube, but filming friendly, which means the music has to be generic, right?
And the volume needs to be controllable, but copyright-free music.
That's it, copyright-free music. So if we can,
Or the volume can move up and down if it's.
yeah, but no one wants no volume. It changes the vibe. I want
Yeah.
music. I want copyright-free music, which isn't so easy, but that's what we're working on.
Yeah,
Or
because
you got-
I get dinged because I don't really generate revenue from YouTube, but for somebody who does, that's a huge deal. And there are casinos clamping down. They're going the opposite direction. I was at Aria last night, and they, as soon as I had my phone out looking like I was doing video, I always get it before they scold me, so I don't care that much because I've been doing it long enough
What were
to
you
know they're
filming?
going to probably scold me. But I love that idea, and I think that's an idea that should catch on, like pickleball, because these and it's not just casinos, it's theaters. Like Awakening is struggling, and it's because they have a no photography, no video rule. Like I get that that's a common thing.
I was at the Win last night. It was the first thing I said to someone I was talking. It's like the first rule of any show today needs to be take out your phone and use it.
Please,
Don't lock your
yes.
phone up and put it away. You cannot survive that way.
Yeah,
It doesn't.
Absinthe is a great show, but they also literally, I mean, it is annoying to have somebody doing video for 5 minutes, but it's within reason. You want people to share.
But in
You want them
Absinthe,
to-
sorry, Scott.
Yes.
In Absinthe, if you take your phone out and film, they're not going to tell you to put it away.
Right. That's
They don't
what I
want the
mean. They-
flash because they're doing acrobatic
it's
things.
dangerous to the performers, but they are very much proactively. Please take
Please post.
photos. Please take video. Fort Queens actually is proactive for photography. The last place you would expect them to do it, but it's good word of mouth. It's an absolutely essential part of marketing now.
Should I give you a teaser?
Yes.
Lisa doesn't know this. I don't think. We have a new show coming, very potentially.
What?
I know. Scary, isn't it? Because shows have never worked out. And I am so reluctant to do it that
Is it
I've turned
absent?
away probably 30 shows in the last 2 years.
Ah.
But this one I do believe in. At least I believe in the people.
What
I
is
believe
it?
in the content. I'm not telling you. I believe in the ability of it to be really good. And I think with Sand Dollar Carousel and a cool, fun show that embraces social media, you never know. You got to try, right? I mean, how do you leave that room sitting empty or turn the room into like a sports book?
It's a beautiful room.
It's a beautiful.
So is it a coincidence that you mentioned that right after I mentioned absinthe? Because Ross, I know you know Ross Mollison. I know he wakes up in the middle of the night screaming ideas. So
Yeah.
he probably would say, I have a great concept. It's going to be a variety show with comedy. And he could clone any one of his shows.
He could. It's not with Ross. If I have to break this, if I have to break any further, if I have to give any further guidance, it's not with Ross. I begged Ross for years. He gave me puppetry of the penis, which we couldn't get approved by Gaming Control Board. I think we told that story on this podcast.
Wait, you can't do nudity
Yeah.
on a casino property.
Yeah.
That's really interesting because it's always.
But I was
it's
trying to
been over-
explain this is a different
Yes.
kind of nudity because they're not actually. Well, it's nude.
It's Wang. It's Wang Theater.
What, the new show or the,
No, the puppetry of the penis.
Yeah.
We couldn't do that.
It's at the. It's still. Oh, it's not there anymore. I don't think. But it's.
Sorry, I have the
about a
director
year
of security
to-
calling, which usually I have to take that.
Go ahead. We can keep talking without you.
Let's keep talking.
Don't hit pause, Rich. This is very
Don't
important.
No, I'll just join in.
So, Lisa, while Jonathan is talking on the phone, so you don't know what show this is or
I don't.
what the entity is?
I don't.
Is it going to be a variety?
I have no
It has
idea.
to
This
be
is
a
the first time
variety
hearing
comedy
of it.
show. Okay.
Well, we've done variety shows.
Like what?
The One Epic Night. No, the show there was
The only show that we ever really gave a lot of effort behind was Mob's Story, and frankly, I still think that should have worked.
yeah.
I still think it was a good
It
show.
was really good.
It was a good show.
And
It had great content. It had great production, great story. Frankly, that should have worked. And just probably the thing with shows, and that's what I try to stress is you need a year. Talk to Ross. Ross knows no show works in the first year. It takes time. Look at Awakening.
When is it going to open here?
Interestingly, you want to hear some inside scoop?
Yeah.
So, interestingly, what I heard from a very reliable source is that Ross had a handshake deal with Matt Maddox to create a show for Win.
Oh.
They went with the $150 million Awakening, and it has not fared all that well. But interestingly, they welched on the deal with Ross. And so that's an interesting twist because, in a way, I'm pretty sure it would have cost less than $150 million.
Yeah.
I don't know. I hadn't heard what the concept was going to be, but I assume it would be along the same lines as everything else he's done, whether it's disco or space or the Old West. It would have been a big variety show, probably bigger because it was at Wynn. But that was an interesting.
Unless
twist.
Ross is your source, I would imagine it's pretty easy to confirm or deny this story that you're telling.
Well,
I know.
Matt Maddox is not. Yeah, it was Ross who told me.
I know, right. I know both of the people you're talking to. I could pretty easily confirm or deny this, but Ross likes the strip. I think Ross gets the idea that having 3, 4, 5,000 rooms over your head makes it much easier. But it's not a guarantee. I mean, again, look at Awakening. You still got to execute. You still got to give something that relates, and maybe Awakening comes back with a different variation of itself. It sounds like it is. That's what I don't know if you've heard something different.
Yeah, they're working on it. There's a big question mark as to whether the tweaks they can make to it can save it, because there's been some discussion about kind of the culture change and those big lavish shows and at that ticket price and the audience, a lot of the foreign visitors. I don't think those numbers have come back completely. So that was a big chunk of the Cirque audience and the potential audience for Awakening. Somebody literally on another podcast today said, I'm not all that interested in going to a show where I don't know what it's about.
Yeah.
So
my wife couldn't follow the story.
Yeah, it's hard communicating what it is, what it's about. Not that story's always been
Not that I'm
big
saying
deal.
my wife is not smart, because that made it sound that way. I didn't follow the story
No,
either. But I wasn't trying to
She's
listen.
in the majority, and trying to fix the story is one thing they're going after. But I don't know that solves the bigger issue. I did a story with 10 very cogent, insightful suggestions for them, And one of them was to steal talent from Ross, to grab variety shows, which I've now heard is happening.
Oh, really?
That they're like calling around to these variety acts from Russia, Ukraine, like Asia. They're calling these specialty acts, going, "Hey, want to do a little something for Awakening?"
Well, what are the cost of Awakening doing while they do this? It's so hard to hire people right now in any industry or any jobs. I heard that some of the restaurants, when they close to remodel, they have to give their workers other things to do or pay them to stay home because you risk then I'm not coming back.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Because everyone's hiring.
Yeah,
Everyone's
well, I
trying to
think
find
they're
people.
calling it like rehearsal, an extended rehearsal period. So it's
They're still
it's
gonna be
possible that the actors are still there and actively working on it. But the kind of rejiggering it needs it's tough, and it's so expensive. You know, the numbers, as you break them out, it's hundreds of thousands of dollars for the technical crew, for the cast, for the creative team, like all those people that, and the real question is like the folks in concession, the associated businesses when you have a show like that running, it's hundreds of people flooding potentially onto your casino floor, into your restaurants, when it's retail shops, it's everything. So it's a real strange situation and very real financial impact when you decide they're not going to close it. There's some, there's pride and ego involved. There's a lot of money involved. So if you just pull the plug on a show that expensive, it's crazy.
Well,
so
we have a new show.
Yeah, what was your variety show going to be about?
I can't tell you. We have a
Confirmed.
you know what?
Variety. Yes.
I'll give you a lot more insight once it's all finalized. We're very close. It's not done yet, so I can't say.
So it might not
Who's
happen.
going to play Hamilton?
But
Finalized?
but I think you'll like the idea. I think it's a great show for down here, and I think the Plaza needs it because again, Carousel Bar, Sand Dollar, Oscars, and then that you got a real.
You
good
go
synergy.
from like having not a lot to do after at night, and now
Yeah.
there's so much to do, so many options.
That's why we all sat down and said we needed more after 10 p.m. Now we're going to have it.
I love it.
Yeah,
But
it's a lot of, there's more options for me. Sand Dollar, it takes a lot for me to change my gambling habits, the places that are kind of in my rotation, because I'm a creature of habit, and I concentrate my play because I like the perks. Well, now I'm in the Plaza world, and I would bet money that I'm a couple of tiers up since I last checked.
Yeah,
because once you're in the rotation, now you're in the rotation. And it would be hard. You'd have to really screw up those video poker pay tables for me to stop going to Sand Dollar. And
They are the best pay tables in downtown.
They're really good.
And they have the best cocktails with them in the Sand Dollar environment. It's kind of tough to beat that.
It is, I'm going to say, the best pizza on this part of the street.
Like in this building.
Pizza Rock is hard. I don't know. It's the best of its kind. How about that? Maybe in the entire town.
Hey,
that deep dish, Super Frico style. Like that's really good at Super Frico. But I think yours is probably the best. And when I talk to Ross again, it'll be back to Super Frico. But for now, I think it's one of the best pizzas in town. Here's a question. So why don't they serve that amazing pizza in pop-up pizza? You can't get that pizza because one night there was a private event, which I've now learned how to get into using the gaming laws.
Yeah.
But
I want to gamble. It's pretty simple.
Thanks.
Right.
And your frontline guy didn't know, but his supervisor overheard it. And so as I was being turned away, he goes, wait, you want to play video poker? I'm like, that's why I was here. And he goes, right this way.
Yeah.
So
Was it a nice private party at least?
yes. Unfortunately, there was live music, which I'm not a fan of. But there seems to be a lot of live music down there. So I've accepted it. I carry earplugs on me at all times now, mainly because of Sand Dollar and Fremont Street. But
Fremont Street's much worse.
but they
okay.
don't serve that pizza. I went over and said, can I just get the pizza you serve? The only difference is you just walk it over to Sand Dollar and
Yeah.
they just say no.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll pay double. And the guy goes, we can't sell it at any price. And I'm like, okay, that's about my limit.
The Detroit slices at Papa Pizza are pretty similar, no?
They're like deep. I don't know. I just wanted my little square of heaven, the way I like it.
Yeah, there are very similar offerings to Lisa's point, but we had to create a differentiation between Sand Dollar and Pop-Up because we wanted to. But you should know just to text Lisa, Courtney, Ryan, and say, hey, I need my slice of heaven while I'm at pop-up, and they can do it. But we don't want to make it a permanent thing because Sand Dollar should be special. But speaking about pizza, what are you doing on Friday for lunch?
I don't know. It sounds
Although
like something.
You have the palate. You have the palate of a mule, but
Oh, you're gonna do the you guys winning pizza.
we have the most award-winningest pizza.
Yes, it's
Ever.
shredded hyena.
It's hyena with oxtail
No.
mixed with the heirlooms. No, we have this award-winning pizza on the focaccia dough that Mikey Vaknin won in the Pizza Awards. International Pizza Expo. He got the best pizza pie in America. And we're going to
probably no cheese. He does weird. I know it's wonderful, and I know it wins awards.
Yeah.
But he did. I think the last time he won, like, it's really impressive that he wins these awards. But I looked at it and I'm like, I think you may not be able to call that a pizza just because there's
Shaved
dough
hyena.
involved.
Shaved hyena.
Yeah, like what is the stuff that's on there? And he loves the ingredients and these exotic
very
mixtures of flavors and nuanced things. I'm like, what kind of mozzarella cheese is it?
All right, so for those
It's a pork belly and date jam pizza.
So for those with a more refined taste.
Hey,
Wait, it is that? What did he make the
It's
food?
made with onion, date jam, maple glazed lardons, and duck prosciutto, smoked mozzarella,
anything with lard.
dates, blue cheese, stracciatella, fried and caramelized pecans, orange zest, microgreens, and edible flowers.
It's like, does he have a big blender down there? What is happening?
So, every first Friday, he's making 40 to 50 of these pies for the first 40 to 50 people that come down and try it.
Nice.
$15 for the full pie.
Oh, that's a good price.
It's a great price. It's an amazing price to have award-winning pizza, and you heard all those.
No, I think
ingredients.
both people that
So here's what
like
you're gonna.
that pizza.
What time do you wake up on Friday?
It's not. I'm never putting that in my mouth. There's nothing.
No. I was gonna say, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna come down for lunch on Friday, and you're gonna stare at this thing that you and I will never eat because I'll
Thank
never
you.
eat pork belly, whatever some of those other things are that are in there. And you're never gonna. We're gonna eat the normal pizza. I'll get you your slice of heaven, but we'll stare at the other people while they eat the deliciousness.
That's a good point because there's something for everybody, even aliens. All due respect.
Okay.
So
Friday.
is anybody going to ask me any questions so I can talk about myself?
Yes.
What's your highest ranked tweet currently
Oh,
from the last year? Because you know the last time you were on this podcast was March 2022.
yes. I try not to pay too much attention to that because those are, they're a good way to measure engagement. But sometimes like the negative tweets tend to always do better. And that's an interesting phenomenon in the world, in social media, that things that are negative tend to be the most popular.
Yeah.
So I don't
Just sad,
love-
I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting because sometimes my tweets are sharing potentially bad news, and so I don't know why. I think people just gravitate toward things that get an emotional response, and sometimes negative things get them whipped up. So I have to think about that all the time. I know I'm not answering your question, but in the larger context, the ones that are negative, sharing usually kind of bad news, are the ones that like. I can't think of an example, so I'm not going to make one up.
No, can I give you an example? The other night, I took you on a tour of the carousel bar, and you posted the pictures, and you said, all of this is coming, it looks beautiful, and that got like 4 comments. And then you posted that there wouldn't be comp drinks at the bar, and boom.
Tens of thousands.
I got everyone attacking the Plaza.
Yeah.
Why would they open a bar without comp drinks? Why would you? And so, yes, no one wants to celebrate the beauty and the good things. They want to attack the negative. I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good example because you did 2 posts right next to each other.
That is a perfect example because I can do
One's
with
emotional.
with a new casino. Say, I can visit. I can do 10 tweets about excellent food. Look at this art. It was Resorts World was the example. All amazing, beautiful casino, beautiful art, great, just everything, right? And then there would be like, well, the grilled cheese in the one restaurant was undercooked. It will get 10 times the likes, 10 times the shares. And so I if you're just going for likes or reach or, you know, the hateful negative stuff. I do a lot of it because there's a lot of things I hate. A lot of times I do it in a joking way, but it ultimately is it far overwhelms the, look at how exciting Fontainebleau is. Very exciting, right? Then I hear their opening date might be pushed back. That one's the one that gets, and it's just a rumor, right? So
when do you think they're opening?
They are saying December of 2023. I'm taking them at their word. The reason I'm taking them at their word is because the folks doing PR for Fontainebleau, their agency, also did PR for the former owner, Mr. Witkoff. Mr. Witkoff and his people were telling the PRs, this is absolutely financed, absolutely happening, 100%. So the PRs went out to their immediate contacts that they've taken decades to foster, and they are telling them 100% financed, 100% happening. It's going to be the Drew, blah, blah, blah. Well, it fell through, and the PRs were like, what did you just do to our professional relationships? We don't know if you lied, if you just really believed it and didn't know any better. But we took our marching orders. And so the PRs are saying, never happening again. We're not going to just, the fact that they're paying us doesn't mean we're just going to take it on faith and potentially ruin our business. So the PR firm is saying 100% end of the year. Fontainebleau just announced December 2023. I think there's a potential for them to do a partial opening. So because a lot of times there's a tax advantage to opening by the end of the year, like Circa did. Like Circa had some things that weren't open yet. Their convention center space wasn't open. So they opened so that they could satisfy the tax requirements, so they could write off all their slot machines or whatever. And I'm sure Fontainebleau has a lot of smart tax folks too. So I think it'll largely open, but there could be parts of the tower, thousands of rooms. If you only open 500 or 1,000 or 1,500 rooms, you're still open. Your casino's open.
Right.
I think somebody said they're going to have 27 restaurants or something. If you open 10 restaurants, you're still open.
It's a lot. So, didn't you tweet out that they got a new president? Was that you?
Well, they have a temporary president. He is kind of the placeholder president. He's with the company that owns the place, the developers.
Yeah.
I think he's temporary because he's not a casino guy.
Oh,
he's
you didn't tweet out
president.
the ex-Win guys going there?
Wooden.
Yeah.
Is his name. They were in discussions with him. The latest rumor, literally today, was there was going to be some difficulty getting a license, so they may have moved on to another candidate. That's not confirmed. I haven't heard anything from Fontainebleau. My sources are pretty good, and it was kind of, when his name came up, he was in the thick of things during the Wynn controversy, and really experienced. Like Fontainebleau needs a casino guy or gal, right, Lisa?
Right. Lisa.
Right.
Oh,
In
gal.
there. They need somebody who's sharp. Our mutual acquaintance, Colleen.
Yeah.
She's really smart, top executive, really good. Came over from Cosmo.
Shout out to Colleen.
Shout out to Colleen.
And she knows what she's doing.
born
Oh, I shouldn't say, when I talk about her, I shouldn't say Cosmo, because she's like one of those people where it's cosmopolitan.
Yes, get it right.
Yeah, sorry. But so they pulled over, and the former president, who you had on your podcast, excellent episode, now moot, he kind of got...
We're nervous to invite Colleen in case it becomes like a jinx.
Yeah, you don't want to be... tomorrow you'll hear like Roeben's out at casino.org.
Roeben's no longer at Circle.
But
been on
yeah,
three times.
it's beautiful. I've seen some other renderings that I hadn't seen before. I thought they were the real thing. They just have really good renderings.
They weren't real things. I told you.
They were or weren't?
They were not.
Well, now I'm mad because
I thought they didn't
shared
look
it
like the real
here's the
things.
first look. It
Yeah.
was like photography,
No,
but it was just photorealistic.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even really scoop. I had already shared all those.
Yeah,
all
no,
those
that wasn't scoop.
renderings.
Sorry.
But anyway, it's going to be beautiful. That's guaranteed. I did get a guy who's apparently snuck in there and took photos, so you could see.
Who?
how- well,
He's not going to tell you.
he's doing a documentary on going into places like he did a really good job on the Riviera. He just didn't do it with permission per se. And I'm a little unclear if he did it with permission at Fontainebleau because they have not let anybody in to take pictures.
We did.
Well, other than you, but you also didn't share the pictures. They haven't let anybody in who would be able to share the photos. So he got some really good construction photos. I tried asking him, like, is this trespassing? What is this? Because I'm not going to be on the hook for aiding and abetting.
Right.
But then the lawyer said, hey, if he trespassed, that's not on you. You're the media.
But you're
I'm
sharing
I'm
it.
good.
Who's your lawyer, and what's the craziest thing you've asked him or her?
My lawyer, who saved my ass, which is the legal term. I hope I can say that on your podcast. Rich, do not mark that down for editing. He saved my ass. And it's so funny because I was just listening to the decision in the Sahara lawsuit, the frivolous lawsuit where I prevailed. And I realized that I was so excited when they said the case was dismissed, right? So I'm on the phone listening to the lawyers doing their thing, and then Sahara's lawyer doing whatever he was doing, which my lawyer described as adorable. His name is Mark Randazza. That was the answer to your question, but there's a better story. So I'm listening to this recording the other day, and so I had racked up probably $100,000 in legal fees over the course of this. And I was out of pocket maybe 40 grand. And it was all to keep my source anonymous because that's all they wanted.
From the Sahara.
Right. They weren't really going after money. They wanted the source who told me that he had done this liquidation estimate.
That it was going to close down.
Right. That it could close. That was his assumption because he has done liquidations for, I think he had done it when it was the original Sahara. He had done that liquidation. He had done liquidations all over town. He said, in 30 years, no one's ever had me do an estimate and not closed down and sold off their physical assets. That's what he does for a living. So he even said, like, they paid me $10,000 to do this estimate, blah, blah, blah. So he said, I think they're going to close because everybody has in 30 years. And in my world, I'm like, that's a rumor. I can do that. Sahara apparently was in no mood. But I'm listening to the decision, and the judge is going, I'm here. I swore to protect the First Amendment. I'm going to rule in favor of the defendant, Vital Vegas. And I was so excited. I was like jumping up and down.
Were you there in court?
No, I was listening on the phone. It was during COVID, so everybody was on the phone. And so I'm excited. And then I hear this kind of chatter at the end, and I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. Well, I listened to it the other day, and the judge said, I'm ruling in favor of the defendant, but I'm not going to award legal fees. Case closed. Everybody fill out the paperwork, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, but that's $100,000+ that I'm going to have to pay my lawyer for a frivolous. Well, you're saying it's a frivolous lawsuit. So Mr. Randazza very politely chimes in because Randazza was the one who wrote the anti-SLAPP statute. He was my lawyer, the guy who helped write the statute. And he goes, Your Honor, just point of clarification, it's mandatory that the person who files the baseless lawsuit pay the legal fees of the defendant who is exonerated. Boom! I didn't realize that had happened, but it was that close to me having to pay $100,000 to my lawyer. He wasn't. There are like two numbers that they bill. They bill the official amount, then they bill the amount they're really going to bill you if you lose, and that can be quite a bit different. But that's all. You got more scoop here than I even do on my own podcast.
Wow.
Because I had not listened to that audio in a long time. But it's an interesting Vegas story. None of the local, media outlets understood
You never
why
went
it
back
was
to the
bad.
Sahara, right?
No, they walked me out. You probably know more about this than I do, but because I've consider myself 86, but I'm not really trespassed because They just so what happened was
Did they read you your
no. So I went in
pass?
and I gambled there all the time. I loved the Sahara, and I was playing and I put my card in. And it said something about a free T-shirt. So I go up to the desk and I say, I think I'm supposed to get a free T-shirt. Here's my card. She goes, sir, you've been evicted. Then about 12 security cards came around. And apparently it had been communicated through their system that if I ever put if I hadn't put my Players Club card in, they never would have known I was there. I could go back, but why would I want to? You don't want to go to a party you're not invited to. But
Right.
I was always the biggest fan of that place. And it was just sad because the local publications didn't get that it was a First Amendment thing. They were just happy that I got sued because I scooped them every day. So they were cheering. And then they covered the lawsuit, but then they never covered that it was dismissed. They didn't really cover that they dragged it out for 9 more months through the appeals process, which they lost at every turn because my lawyer, Mark Randazza, is a flippin' genius and a crazy person.
Well, congratulations.
And he's been giving me like free legal advice ever since because he doesn't really want me sued. So he's not in
You're
it for the
probably
money.
promoting him on Twitter, which helps his client base.
I think he would like me to, but I don't really bring him up because I don't want him dragged into the S show that Twitter is. But thank you for that question. It gave me a chance to, because I think that's interesting for people that follow Vegas media. The haters, of course, love that I was sued. They never really talk about that I was vindicated, that they paid an incredibly, like the part I can talk about is a lot.
Why?
And
Sorry, go on.
no, that's just they paid a lot of money, and it was really just to try and shut me up, like Steve Wynn used to do to journalists. And then we got this law that protects journalists. I shared
That
it
the
as a
slap
rumor. It should
law?
have been treated that way. What?
Is that the slap law?
Anti-slap, yeah.
The other day, Scott, sorry to change the subject, but Rich is giving me the eyes, which means we don't have endless time.
No, we need to go longer.
The other day,
Thank
you were sort of talking about one of the companies potentially making cuts and slowdowns, and that record revenue wasn't record profit, and that there's less visitation to downtown. Is that along the lines of like people like doom and gloom stories versus good stories? Like, because more people are breaking records in terms of their operations. You just have to listen to the first quarter conference calls. So why take the negative approach? And is that right, Lisa? He said there was less people coming to Vegas?
I don't think it was visitation related. I think the rumor, and Wynn corrected it, there had been a rumor that they had frozen their wine buying.
Okay.
That they were potentially going to do a hiring freeze. And so that came from several sources, at least one an employee. And so I share things I hear because I don't think Wynn is going to say, yeah, we're tightening our belt. There's been a lot of talk about concerns about a recession. I don't see it. But would you disagree that
So sorry, but
these companies...
Wynn corrected that?
Yeah.
Your tweet?
Yeah. And
So
I corrected it.
Someone from Wynn then reached out and said, that's not true. We're not
Yeah.
tightening our belts.
Right.
Oh.
And because a lot of companies are very happy to give me a smackdown, and I'm always happy to share their correction. I still always kind of, and this got me in trouble with Sahara because everyone knew Sahara was in trouble. They still are. Nobody can really explain why it's still open. But when you make that leap of, because a lot of folks in the financial world watch my account and they use it as a cue for some of their decision making. So I don't own stock in anything, so I don't care. But there was a noticeable lift in Wynn stock value when I also, in my correction, I said I'm also not going to share the rumor that the Wynn is a potential takeover target. So all the financial guys and gals are up there
you're
going,
getting better at
well,
this, Scott.
we don't know if it's true, but his sources have been good in the past. So what's it going to hurt if I buy some Wynn
That's
stock?
wild.
Yeah, and it's moved the needle sometimes in really bad ways. I shared a leaked document from Caesars Entertainment about it was I think it was during the pandemic when they there were rumors of whatever mandate COVID mandate was being put in place, that they had a lot of cancellations in their rooms. So I got an internal document. I share those, and apparently that market cap changed $1 billion.
Really?
The day after.
1 billion.
That 1 billion. And that's the day I was introduced to the CEO of Caesars Entertainment, because he called and he wasn't mad. He just said I should introduce myself, and in the future, if you want to discuss these things or
Tom
give them
Reed.
more context, right. So we are on very good terms, but I often have, the introductions are often negative things. Like I said that at one point, I said Virgin was infested with rats because employees were telling me it's infested with rats. So I did that tweet, and then the president of Virgin reached out to say, hi, I should probably introduce myself.
Wow.
And that's why Cliff at Fontainebleau was so great, because he announced that he was president, and 15 minutes later, he sent me an email saying I should probably introduce myself. He said, I would rather have a relationship like you have with, say, Derek Stevens, than you do with Sahara. And so it's really helpful. So I spread scandalous rumors, then they introduce themselves, and then we're BFFs.
But you get the good engagement on the scandalous rumor, and then on the correction, you probably get nothing.
Right.
No one cares.
Nobody cares.
No one cares
it's
that
like when
the
I
win
got
is not
sued.
tightening the belt.
Nobody cared that I was vindicated. They just loved that I was sued.
Yeah.
The follow-up or the correction is never gets the reach. When I did a retraction for Sahara, that was more content for me. Their most popular tweet that they've ever done was the smackdown of me. So
Really?
Yeah, it was a negative tweet about
Yeah, but it was
me
probably all the fake accounts that hate you retweeting it.
to each other.
It's all the same person.
It is.
It's like one guy
It
writing
is one
it.
guy, and I used to get mad, but now I realize there's some mental illness involved, so it's less funny to me. And I have started carrying pepper spray, and all my guns are loaded in the house because it's just gotten so weird and obsessive.
Oy.
When I describe it to people, they can't really understand it because they think of things in terms of haters. Haters are fine. I've been dealing with haters I've been online for 40 years.
Right.
But obsession and scrutinizing they will scrutinize this podcast, which is good, another listener, right? But he will scrutinize every word we say. He will cherry pick things.
Probably not
that
the
I
listener
say.
I'm looking for. I'm looking for
Yeah.
the guy I met here on Saturday night who listens to the podcast, who comes from Seattle, or the one from like South Carolina who's here all because they listen to the podcast, and now they're having dinner and Oscars to experience.
Yep.
And he's saying, oh my God, that's Lisa, I recognize your voice. That's the kind of person, not the people that you're talking about.
Exactly.
How is your podcast? Is it still going strong?
Yes, I'm starting to do it weekly. I've been feeling a little bit better. Haven't had some great health stuff going on in the last year. I'm doing it more often. This is more fun than doing mine because talking to other people is infinitely more fun than me doing things with myself. But it's hard to, I think I've taken the pressure off myself. The same hater goes and does 1-star ratings, creates fake accounts, does 1-star ratings, and has driven my ratings down.
Don't you
just
not
by
want to give this
sheer
person
repetition.
life?
What's that?
Don't you not want to give the person life?
What does that mean, Lisa?
Like, why talk about it?
Oh.
Oh, no, because he loves the attention. It's a reason to
It's
live.
for him.
Yeah. So, like I said,
It's a
it's
gift.
gone.
It's a gift.
It's gone from
Or you really got a 1-star podcast.
No, I agree with that. I'm on board with the haters on that.
Are we going to see you on Friday?
No,
What?
but the pizza sounds gross. All due respect.
What if we give you whatever pizza
In
you want?
Detroit, pepperoni.
Yes.
A sand
but I
dollar.
think I should say, because we talked about this earlier, that the venues that we're talking about here at Plaza will be open before June 10th, because that's the grand opening.
Yes.
But I'm going to be here whatever the first day of Pink Box is. I'm eating a donut. First day of the bar.
Oh, well, let me correct
Lounge.
you. Let me correct you then. June 10th will be the first day of Pink Box. They've made the decision, with my support, they don't want to do a soft opening. They don't believe in soft openings. I believe in soft openings for bars and some of our operations, like our Hawaiian places in a soft opening. In fact, when I took you to eat there the other night, or invited you to eat there the other night, I didn't realize that only half the menu is available. The loco moco, the spam musubi, the oxtail soup is not yet on the menu.
Oh.
All of that's coming down the road.
Did you like it?
I love the chicken, the teriyaki chicken. I grew up in Hawaii, so I'm maybe a tougher sell than some because I have fun. Oh, heard something. I know why I love the music in your casino, and it's because I heard on TikTok.
Hi, Courtney.
That things that happen to you. There's Courtney. Speaking of she's the one who gave me the teriyaki chicken.
Yeah.
She's so pretty. Between age 12 and 22, the things that happen in your life happen very intensely. So your experiences of food, of music, of people, of movies you're wired differently to appreciate them. So I love the music in the casino because it's for a more mature audience. It speaks to a time in my life when I have passionate feelings about music. Whereas more modern music, I might like it, but I'm never going to feel the same level of passion. So that's why I love the music on the second floor of the D. And it's,
Wait, they have different music?
Yeah, it's because that's supposed to be their kind of vintage old people floor. And that's where I play, obviously, because I'm both vintage and old. The idea is that in that age range, the things that happened to you, like growing up in Hawaii, I had a mix plate. It was heaven to me. It was the first time I'd ever tried it. I had it for years. You usually get out of a truck, whatever. So I'm a harder.
Yeah, but let me back up. It was my bad to invite you on day 2 of a place that doesn't have the full menu and the full training yet. Like we gotta give our team a chance to get up to speed, get everything firing on all cylinders. In a soft opening, you do that so that people can have the chance to learn the menus and do it the right way. And some people do that sort of with play dates with their own staff. But we wanted to get open. So Pink Box don't want to do that. Pink Box believes that grand opening's your grand opening, and they didn't want to open and then do a grand opening, which I sort of don't mind.
I just want donuts sooner. I don't get all the
June
big
10,
reveal thing.
June 10. But
the bar will be open sooner.
So the bar. Now this is interesting. The bar is opening next Friday.
Okay, that's impossible, but
right. The
horsies still have plastic on.
Well, that's the surprise.
May
12th.
Holy cow.
So May 12th, Scott, 5 p.m.
No.
No, don't meet for a cocktail?
No.
Okay, when should we meet for a cocktail?
The 13th.
I'm coming whenever
what's
the
on the
thing's
12th?
open.
The 12th
I
is
come
a
down
play
there
day for
every night. I'm
employees
going
only.
to notice if it's open. And if I notice it's open,
Scott's
I'm
an
going to
employee.
get a drink.
But we want Scott
As
to
an
come when
employee,
they're ready.
I'll park in my employee parking space, and I walk by here.
And then the new casino and the patio will be. I'm hoping for the casino to be ready, the smoke-free casino to be ready for Memorial Day weekend. But we have some time to play with that because you got to get all the slot product here, the chairs, everything installed. So that will be again early June, officially.
Well, that's great. So I'll be sharing everything as it opens, even though it's not official, because that's how I roll.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm not waiting around for your curtain to come up. I'm gonna gamble or eat donuts whenever it's. And you know damn well they're gonna have the crew in to train to do the donuts. They're not gonna have them handing out imaginary donuts. They're gonna have. They're not going to call it a soft opening, but they're not going to open June 10th. That makes no sense.
You want to know who was here this morning?
Donuts.
You want to know who was here this morning? We'll close off this episode here. Gaming Control came and walked the carousel bar to see the outdoor video poker bar tops. It's pretty cool.
That's cool. Oh,
that's
here's
coming.
A big question on Twitter.
Yes.
What do you do in inclement weather? What do you do when it rains with the video poker?
Haven't you seen those people that, like, when the ceiling's collapsing at Circa or Planet Hollywood and they just sit there playing slots while the rain's falling around them?
That's me. I've been in those videos.
No one cares. You just keep gambling. You're on a hot streak. You're not leaving the table in a little rain.
I know, but I mean, you got to protect your machines. It's rain comes down, but in Vegas it blows sideways. So
yeah, we built the new panel so that the rain won't fall into the bar, but we have covers for it, and it's going to be great.
So it could be sealed off in the case of torrential downpour or a hurricane or whatever, a hay boob. You can cover up the machine. See, these are the questions I don't think to ask except on your podcast.
I'm more concerned about the guy on a hot streak who wants to sit out there in 110-degree heat and the screens are hot. That's going to be interesting.
I mean, if they malfunction in the right way,
Could be good.
I'm here all day and all night.
Thank you, Scott.
It's always
having
the
me
best to
on.
have
Let's
you.
do it again, please. I love breaking records. Oscar he'll manage. We didn't even talk about Oscar. There's so much.
Did you
to
enjoy
talk
the dinner
about.
series the other
I
night?
love the dinner series. I've come to love Oscar so much more because he really just there's nothing that's beyond what he can talk about. He's not overly sensitive to things. He's often just I don't know. And I think people don't always understand where his passion is coming from because in my world it's very confronting. Like he'll tell the story about he gets a heroin dealer off, right? So you hear in the audience he does this big ta-da, and he was found not guilty, or the dentist who was molested by allegedly.
Yeah, but you get the reason why he does that.
That's what I'm saying is, and even as he's telling the stories, he'll get that smattering of applause, but I'm clapping loudly because I get where it's coming from, and it's because he's not trying to get the dentist off. He's trying to make sure that the legal authorities
The system
are
works.
playing by the rules,
Yeah.
that it's being done fairly and legitimately. And that's the theme in everything he does, is he takes these cases because the authorities overstep or they try to work the system.
They lie,
and
they
he's
cheat.
the one guy and everybody's mad at him. Like he has these battles with law enforcement and the FBI, and it's because he's the only guy going, it's not right. Yeah. And it's not right, and the thing that's confronting is that in his mind, this client actually is innocent because he was found innocent. I can't make that leap. Spilatro needed to be in jail for something. But the fact that he was never found guilty is kind of irrelevant to me. But it's very relevant to Oscar because he's proud of that talent that he has. And he's also doing it for the right reason. His autobiography explains it perfectly.
Scott, the bad news is no one's listening anymore. This has gone on way too long. We've run out of time. I think people have stopped listening. And that's a shame because this is actually really interesting. And the problem is, I didn't tell anyone, but the next Oscars dinner series that you're now talking about is June the 14th.
Very nice.
We have one coming up on June the 14th. It's going to go on sale. If you're interested, email Lisa right away so you get first dibs at those tickets. But very interesting stuff. I just hope anyone's still... If you're listening
to
still...
every word
If you're listening,
of your
tweet
podcast.
Vital Vegas and say Oscar.
I listen to every word because your show is so great.
Did you like our most recent episodes? Any of the good... any good
yes.
stuff?
Your guy, your sportsbook guy, like who thought
Tony
I would
Fella?
listen to a sportsbook guy for more than 5 minutes?
He was so interesting.
pronounced Nevada wrong often, but I didn't want to correct it publicly. That's not what I do. But yeah, your episode, like you get on people that you don't think. You don't know exist, for one thing, unless you're in that world, but with just this wealth of knowledge. Because when you hear them rattle off where they've been, they've done everything. They've done every job. They know the industry. They know their world. So these are the best, most talented, most experienced folks in the world. Your cheat detection guy was your game protection, whatever you call him, so good. And he's just rattling off. You could have done 5 episodes with that guy.
Well, this is why I want this podcast to become part of the UNLV literature and the city of Las Vegas to promote it. Mm-hmm. But they haven't done that yet.
I agree. And you're getting people who, some of them they won't be around. We won't be around forever. I'm including me. And then these are the words that we have to remember them by, and the personalities in town that have shaped Vegas, who shaped the gaming industry, and sometimes they don't even have anything to do with casinos, really. So I love the variety of guests. I love that you're open to having opinionated people on. Like me.
What a great episode 96.
Thank you. We'll see you for episode 5.
What?
You. We'll see you for the 5th episode with you.
Oh, what?
That's right.
Your 5th
5.
episode.
Yeah. Episode 169.
5p.
Boom. Thank you, guys.
We'll be back again soon, but in the meantime, please rate, review, and subscribe. Tell your friends about On the Corner of Main Street, and of course, follow us on social. On Twitter and Instagram, it's @PlazaPod, and on Facebook, find us at Plaza Podcast. or go right to the top and tweet Jonathan at Jonathan Jossel. We'll see you next time from right here on the corner of Main Street.